Imagine you find yourself in the line at the DMV, but suddenly, oh man, you're hungry. You're still hours away from your appointment, but if you leave now, you'll have to start the line all over again. If only you'd brought your trusty Vault 13 canteen. Suddenly, you spot a snack bar. They have 4 options. Moving closer, you see the choices on a menu labeled, "We value meaningful choices." First is a sandwich made 6 days ago. It's technically still good, but, definitely not great. Then there's the popular choice, the orphan meat kabab. To make sure it's fresh, there's an orphan in a cage who is harvested when you pick that kebab. And the 2 other options? Well, one is actually a picture of a pizza that somehow costs as much as the sandwich. And the last one is just a glass thermometer that you can break open and drink the mercury out of. You smile and reach your finger out to pick an option and pause. Let's pause this little thought experiment. Have any of these choices been interesting to you? Were you able to follow the story, or was it just really obvious that you were going to pick the sandwich as the serviceable, albeit disappointing choice and move on with your life? Or better yet, just not buy anything right now and eat later when you have more options? Well, that's the faction system of Fallout 4. That's right. There is objectively one correct answer, even though it is disappointing and a little gross. And the rest are just plain stupid and not even worth choosing. If you think you already know what I'm going to say about this, comment down below, but make sure you say, "I think you're going to say," at the beginning of your comment before you predict what I'm going to say. For some reason, people still fight over the Fallout 4 factions as if it's an interesting choice. After today, I hope we can put all of this tired debate to rest. You ready to be enlightened? So let's break down the Commonwealth when you begin. After all, how can you presume to rule a kingdom unless you first seek to understand that kingdom, right?
Look out to the horizon, past the trees, over the grasslands. Everything the light touches belongs to someone else.
At the beginning of the game, the Institute is on the cusp of taking over the Commonwealth forever, without anyone even knowing they're there. They have a small army of robotic synths that can teleport anywhere without warning. They have a puppet leader in the only city of note for miles around, and they experiment on people that live on the surface whenever and however they want. They probably hired the Gunners to kill the only government that ever managed to do anything, bringing the Minutemen to its knees, and their only rivals are, or were, the Railroad. Only they just killed most of their agents and leaders in a surprise attack, forcing the Railroad to move into a trading outpost unsuited for full-scale operations. The only thing left is to activate a nuclear reactor, at which point they will have limitless energy for transportation and synth creation. At which point, their army of slaves, indistinguishable from humans, will move to the surface and terraform it with lab-grown plants and animals, so that one day, their children can move up and see the sun again. The reason the Institute seems unstoppable is because they are. They hold all the cards. They don't even need to risk a full-scale attack. They've already won. Once they have unlimited power, nothing and no one will be able to stop them. So that's your first option, total world dominance. Just the teensy-weensy whittle detail that by some fluke, they decided to steal your baby out of the arms of your wife and shoot her in the head, then left you around to come after them. First of all, that's stupid. Just take the whole family. But second, I'm always baffled by the posts I see on Reddit that I see screenshotted, then posted to Facebook, then snipped and posted onto YouTube videos. They usually go something like this. It's you and father standing on the roof of CIT, and the poster is saying, "This is the exact moment that I split with the Institute. I mean, he calls you an experiment."
So it was you. You let me out.
Yes. It was my decision. Certainly it was no longer necessary to keep you suspended. Well, I suppose I wanted to see what would happen. An experiment of sorts.
Or the other variant I see the most often when you first enter the Institute, and it usually shows Nora or Nate standing over Sean's body, and the caption is something like, "Call my spouse collateral damage again, you sick son of a bitch."
Your mother. She never got to see you grow up?
Yes. What happened to her was... I've gone over the records of the incident, of course. It seems her death was an unfortunate bit of collateral damage.
I don't know. Posts like this really make me second guess other people asking why Bethesda doesn't write smarter factions and characters. Here's Bethesda strapping on a megaphone and screaming, "Hey, this guy right here, he's clearly a psychopath. I don't know, maybe a sociopath at best." And people's takeaway is, can you believe this guy called you an experiment? Yeah, actually, I can believe that he called you an experiment. He was stolen from the arms of his parents as a baby and raised in a lab. He can't say that he loves you, even if you say it directly to him.
Sean, you need to know. I still love you.
I can see that you do. It's remarkable.
The dude is broken. This is like finding one of those children out in the woods that's been raised by wolves, and then complaining that they keep howling and pissing on the carpet. "No, Mom, it's not a phase. I really am a wolfkin." Anyway, here's the problem. The Institute is clearly evil. There's so much evidence that they're evil. And the great tragedy of Fallout 4 is that they stole your son, who presumably was going to grow up and be a productive member of society. I don't know, a normal guy, let's just say. And they took him away from you and wrecked his mind until they made him the poster boy of evil. On the one hand, there is plenty of evidence that Sean is the real problem, and that with a new director, things at the Institute would be fine. Hint, hint. On the other hand, there's plenty of evidence to suggest that the Institute is as capable of ruling the Commonwealth as they are of parenting an orphan. That is to say, they steal the ability to love and turn it into an unfeeling automaton. Hint, hint. In the end, this isn't an interesting choice. Either they're irredeemably evil and supposed to make you mad about your son, or they would twist you, the player, into something as evil as they are by manipulating you the same way they do to all things, including your son. In case it isn't clear, this would be like choosing the orphan kabab. I mean, sure, it's food, you can eat it, might even fill you up. But the cost is so stupidly high, you'd never choose it. No one really thinks the Institute is the right choice. The same way no one really thinks that orphan meat is a good thing to buy and eat. It's not really fun to discuss. So who's next? Oh yeah, the Railroad. The only people who ever went toe-to-toe with the Institute. And lost. The problem here should be obvious. This doesn't even make sense. I mean, this is like getting to the end of The Witcher 3 and finding out that you have to fight the Wild Hunt with Dandelion. Or like trying to beat New Vegas with the Followers of the Apocalypse. If you haven't played through the Railroad recently, I invite you to do so, and just try to take it seriously. It should end when the Brotherhood of Steel attacks the Railroad. Genuinely. When you reach the end game and the Brotherhood of Steel tries to wipe out the Railroad, but you arrive just in the nick of time and save them all, the conversation should go like this.
You've killed the last of them, and you're still standing. I wish the same could be said for Glory. No time for that, though. The Brotherhood underestimated us badly. Their next attack will be far, far worse. So we do the unexpected. We eliminate the Brotherhood as a threat now, and the key to that is destroying their flying fortress, the Pridwin. Fortunately, we've got a contingency plan for that. Tom, we're activating Operation Red Glare.
What? But Red Glare requires a Brotherhood vertibird.
Then Bullseye will get you one.
Fuck you.
I didn't know we were having a party. What gives with my invitation?
That should have been it. Let me try to put this into words why this is so stupid.
You need to leave!
Imagine a kid's movie. Something easy to understand, like, I don't know. Let's take Star Wars. See, the ending of A New Hope is famous for being almost silly with how straightforward it is. The plan is, We found a hole, we're gonna fly up close and shoot inside the hole and hope for the best. Yet, this is a military force with spaceships and torpedoes and trained pilots. The entire movie is setting up how the plan came to fruition, from the stealing of the plans, to how a space wizard got involved, to their capture, escape, and how the villains let the heroes leave because they wanted to know where their secret base was.
Are they away?
They've just made the jump into hyperspace.
You're sure the homing beacon is secure aboard their ship? I'm taking an awful risk, Vader. This had better work.
Everything is lined up to make this make sense. And in the end, they still only win because one of them can use magic and another one shows up after the battle was already lost against all odds. This is considered by most critics as a comically stupid plan that nevertheless fits into the world of Star Wars. Now, let's compare this to the plan the Railroad comes up with. The group with no military and no real training in tactics whatsoever basically says, well, we're gonna walk up to a powerful military outpost and just steal a helicopter. Yeah, those guys that just killed us 2 minutes ago, yeah, we barely survived in our own headquarters, but we're actually gonna go to their base, and just 2 of us, and we're just gonna steal a helicopter and fly the helicopter across all of Boston. Oh no, we've never flown a helicopter before. Yeah, then we'll attack the equivalent of the Death Star. Yep. Then we'll just walk in, we'll just land, and we'll just walk in, and we'll just put a bomb, and we'll just blow it up. Then we're going to teleport into the people who invented teleportation. Yeah, the group that killed us like a month ago. Yep, those guys. Yep, we're just gonna walk in there and same thing, we're just gonna put a bomb on a thing and leave.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
The argument isn't, I think they're bad for the Commonwealth. It's that I hate that this is allowed to exist. Genuinely, if I was writing Fallout 4, the way that I would end the Railroad is I would make them a side faction. And if you choose to follow this plan, if you choose to force them to be an endgame faction, the Railroad just dies in the attempt. So if you make this faction go past what they can obviously handle, you end up killing them. Not only would this make for a better game with deeper choices, but it would prevent us from having the option to subject ourselves to playing the last mission as the Railroad.
Merry Christmas.
Dad said you could fly this thing. Sure. Read the manual cover to cover. The manual? We're spinning! Odds are you'll get made. Once that happens, I'd run like hell, place the bombs, and somehow get out alive.
Then they at least die tragic heroes, rather than living to be a monumental waste of my time. Oh, and the actual mission goes like this. It's not fun at all. It goes, attack a base, sit in a helicopter, listen to painfully unfunny dialogue, sneak into a place, long shooting gallery for like half an hour. Oh, and that ending is copy and pasted from 2 of the other endings in the game. Can you guess what I'd compare this to? This would be like buying the thermometer and drinking the mercury. The choice would be dumb. It's obviously wrong, and it's not even really food. It would just kill you if you tried it in real life. Anyone who wrote this as being a genuine, serious choice simply doesn't understand how the world works. Or they wouldn't write something so obviously stupid and dangerous. Enough said, don't choose the Railroad. Alright, then we have everyone's favorite, the Minutemen. Almost every video I see published on this ends up talking about how the Minutemen are going to save the Commonwealth. But I need to ask, did we play the same game? How can you genuinely play through the Minutemen and not just shake your head? The only thing that makes this a little better than the Railroad is a slightly funner endgame, and at least they pretend to be a real faction. I mean, the ending is just as dumb, don't get me wrong. It basically goes, we're going to take this artillery made of scrap metal and blow up an airship. Oh, and as it turns out, The institute that has been destroying the entire Commonwealth for years just had a door this whole time. Who knew? You can just walk right in. There's a pin pad and everything. You could have just sat here and done every code until you got it right. By the way, this is what stupid people write when they don't know how to wrap up a story. You mean to tell me I could have just walked in the whole time? But at least there's the mission where you can defend the castle against waves of enemies. At least it's fun. Even if the mission should just be 300 synths teleporting inside the castle and killing everyone instantly. So the only benefit here, according to the story, is, well, the Minutemen could be a great faction if you just imagine they're a great faction. Yeah, I guess the guys who died to infighting and a hireable militia definitely won't have it happen again this time, because reasons. I'm sure building a private army that takes the food and water off the top of the locals producing them in exchange for protection won't go wrong. Don't we have a word for that?
You really should have some round-the-clock security here.
Isn't that what the police are for?
They do their best, but they got their hands full. Your weekly dues to us will give you all the supplemental safety net you'll ever need.
But it's more than semantics, okay? Even with all the problems that I have with the idea of a group seizing power because they band together and have guns and muscle, but don't worry, they're good guys because they say that they're good guys. There's other problems too. These guys could never win. They wear trench coats and use muskets. They wear fedoras, for crying out loud. Imagine getting mauled by a Yaoguai. So you fire a flare, and 5 dudes wearing jumpsuits and holding pipe guns show up. Remember the picture of the pizza? It's not even a real option. It's just pretending to be a real option. It's better than the mercury, for sure. You won't die when you drink it. But no thought went into this at all. Instead, we got the building system that no one liked, and no thought went into how they would beat the game. And that leaves the only remaining option, the Brotherhood of Steel. See, this is the sandwich. It's dry and unimpressive. It's old, but at least it's a real choice that isn't outright evil, right? They come in, they show an impressive amount of force and technology.
Impressive. Most impressive.
They're the only ones that can stop synths from teleporting into their base, and their mission statement is clear and it's compelling. But it's really hard to see them as the good guys. They didn't live here, and they won't live here after the game is over. They came in, raided farms, used child soldiers. They don't believe in prisoners and will even kill their own if they've known them for years. Whatever's the simplest answer to their end goal, no matter the cost, is what they go with. At least it's a real faction. At least they have a unique ending that, within the Fallout universe, makes sense. I got a lot of comments after I finished my series on why I wouldn't join each of the factions. More than a few people were asking, well, okay, if they're all bad, who should I join? Well, for me, the answer is unfortunate, but clear. The game was written to have 2 major powers duke it out. They aren't concerned with the Commonwealth people. The people are beneath their notice. Fallout 4 feels like a game where they wrote a big, bad, evil bad guy. They then brought in the good guys to beat them. It feels like Fallout 3. But this time they gave the good guys just enough nuance to make you pause. And they gave the bad guys just enough nuance to make you ask, what if? They should have left it there. Still not amazing writing, but you've got a story there. Instead, they thought they could do what New Vegas did and tried to do 4 factions. Only they'd already written the entire game, so they just took 2 side factions and said, they're main factions now. More isn't always better, especially if you don't bother to make it quality. So yeah, I'd pick the Brotherhood of Steel. No, I don't think it's perfect. No, I don't really think it feels good. But it's all there. I feel about the Brotherhood of Steel the way I feel about Fallout 4 as a whole. I'm glad it exists. I have fun with it. But man, it could have been a lot better. It could have been, well, I guess it doesn't really matter what it could have been. This is what it is.
To help you remain tranquil in the face of almost certain death, smooth jazz will be deployed in 3, 2, 1.
If you enjoyed this video, carve Fallout into your skin and subscribe to Sistil Ravenrock. It really helps out the channel. And until next time, I'll see you around.